Hi everybody, it's Scott DeMaranville here from 4D's Farm. We get a lot of questions through the week, and one of the biggest concerns people have is checking for mites and lice. I commonly walk people through it online, explaining how I do it, and so I thought I'd take an opportunity, make a little video and show you how I check one of our birds. And you know, we're into that season where mites and lice are really going to be common. And it's important to keep the houses clean and make sure that you handle your birds at least on a weekly basis. You don't have to handle them all, but pick a bird from a flock or a couple of birds from a flock and check them out. What I got here is a white breece. I'm using the white breece today because the white will show up really well, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. When I hold a bird, one of the things I do is I make sure that I have the bird's legs locked between two of my fingers. The reason I do that when I'm testing as well, and the reason that I do that is because when the bird knows that you have control of it, they're much less apt to fight, and they get a lot calmer. The more you handle your birds, obviously, the more calm they're going to be each time you do, and they're going to realize that you're not picking them up to make soup out of them. So anyway, the first thing that I'll do is I'll set the bird down and I'll open a wing. And what I do is I'll brush through the under feathers on the wing, and I'll just paw around there for a minute, making sure that I can see bare skin. And I'm looking for any insects that might be moving against the skin. She looks great. The other thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for nits, which is little egg pods that'll be attached to the spine of the feather, and she looks good there. The other thing that I'll do is I'll come back here and I'll search around the vent. You get into that thick downy feathers. That's where the lice and mites will like to hide. And I know at a glance that she's in good shape, though she's a little muddy with all the rain we've had, but she's in good shape because her feathers look healthy. And a bird that has an infestation with mites or lice, the feathers will look almost moth-eaten. You'll see the tiny nits attached to the spines on the feathers. And if you do, if you find some, it's something that you want to get ahead of really, really quickly so that you don't end up with an infestation. And you can treat them, make your own informed decision on how you want to go about treating it. There's things on the market that are made specifically for treating that. So, but like I said, she's in good shape. I also check up here around the collar, and I'll brush the feathers backwards slowly so that I can see bare skin, and I'll make some good observations and see that she's all clear as a bell. One of the important things that people maybe tend to forget is that the mites are definitely, in my opinion, more detrimental than the lice. Lice feed off of the dry skin, but the mites will actually draw blood from the bird, where the lice will feed off the dead skin, and if they cause an irritation or they find a bloody spot, they will indeed ingest the blood. But it's important to remember that mites tend to head into the dark crevices during the day, and they'll come out at night and jump onto the host birds, and they'll feed at night, and then during the day they'll disappear. So it's really a good idea to, when you're going to check your birds over, check them over after dark or very early, first thing in the morning, while some of the mites are still active. Thanks. I hope this was helpful to some of you that are learning, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me.